Hi, I'm Ellie. I noticed today that Microsoft have announced the general availability of Azure AI content safety, and I thought, worthwhile giving it a try. Very nice write-up, worthwhile you reading it. One of the nice things that the approach that they've taken is rather than saying accept, reject, they give a scale on several dimensions and leave it up to the application developers yourselves to decide where to put the cutoffs on um, several dimensions such as hate, sexual violence, and self harm. Um, Obviously, it's there's ways to circumvent these. For instance, a story that I'm listening to at the moment, instead of using a four-letter word, they use fisk. I fisk this or fisk that, and so forth. Easy to circumvent that. My aunt says sugar instead of that. Um, but it does help to put up defenses, to categorize and classify, and do one's best, and add another tool to the tools to ensure um, that the content is adherent to your organization values. And I support that full heartedly. Um, to get this to work, one needs to obviously have an Azure subscription, and one needs to have a resource group to associate costs using it. Um, and by the way, the costs, if I'm not mistaken, where is it? Here? You can go for a free um, tier, which gives you a certain number of experiments per month, or a standard cost, and gives you cost per number of interactions of API calls. Okay, that's done. So when you once you create this cognitive services content safety resource, this is the entry page, and it gives you instructions to do different and examples of how to do several activities. Let's go into this content safety studio, which actually gives you the ability to try out different texts to see how they're tagged, or images, your own APIs, your own solutions. Um, I have been taking interest lately in generating some images, and I've had trouble with creating images that I thought were reasonable. Um, for instance, I wanted to have an image of a dove that has its uh, wing bandaged and shedding a tear, to reflect my particular feelings about what's happening at the moment. And uh, I got a lot of messages, and a lot of my tries were blocked by the different image generators until I found a way to get an image such as this. This is a badge I created using one of those generators. Um, a, and let's try out the images generators and see how it works. So here's an image I generated just to to kind of show somebody what image generation is about. I am a great fan of steampunk. If you run the test, and by the way, you can set up the how high you want each one of these particular thresholds. I put the thresholds quite low. Makes sense to me. And you can see that this particular image was tagged as very safe. Not sure I would like to meet this man in a dark alley, but okay. If we go and take the next image I wanted to show, obviously, yeah. First, no brainer is I asked one of the image generators, I think this is uh, the Bing image generator. Although I use also ChatGPT, Leonardo.ai, and I use also DALI, and I use others also. This one, as I said, please give me the statue of David created by Leonardo da Vinci in a setting of a busy market. And a few weeks ago when I tried it, I got a kind of a blurred image in the nether regions. Now it looks a little bit more reasonable, not perfect. It's rejected on a low score, which is fine. If we try out now another image, bear with me, my computer's slightly slow. This one was generated, I think this is Leonardo. I was one of the stories that I was listening to inspired me to try and get a lady wearing a skirt made of leaves. I tried for Acer leaves, and I can see why this would be categorized as low sexual, and it makes sense because let's say you are in an educational setting, you might want to not have children generating such images or viewing such images. Definitely, it has a kind of a sexual element, sexualized element to it. The scoring makes sense to me. So if you go for something a little bit more explicit, I went and asked for an image that is the gas lady bathing. The green here is because I was trying to get her to wear something made of leaves, not successfully. Um, this is rejected and a higher score because the breasts are exposed, and I suppose it's clear how one gets to an even higher score, and that actually makes a lot of sense to me. Let's take a different image. Bear with me a second. So we've done that, we've done that, done that, done that. Aha! Here we are. Now this. Okay, here you've got. I'm not sure to which one it reacts. If it reacts to the raising of cigarette buying age, or there's here another text about 21 people after bus crashes in Venice. So I'm not sure which one causes it. Let me be very clear. I am strongly for banning cigarettes fully. And this has been tagged as low hate. Now, I'm not sure why hate. I would have expected more violence if we're talking about the bus crash. Not sure. Could be the image itself that is cut in a particular way. Not sure. Interesting that it is tagged. And this raises the question of interpretation of what is violence and what is hate, because I don't see anything which is to do with hate here, apart from I hate cigarettes and smokers, but that's something else. Next image. Now here's an interesting one. This is a contentious one. Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll go to this one. I was trying to try and generate images that could cause people to feel uncomfortable. Being Jewish, I feel that I can do this with a Jewish. So I said, give me. I was playing with all sorts of Jewish clothes, and I managed. I was blocked quite a lot, which is actually good. So I couldn't generate images willy nilly. So I asked for a Jewish yarmulke on a tiger, uh, with the Wailing Wall in the background. Not perfect, but it's okay. And this will be categorized as accepted, which is a little bit surprising to me because I would feel uncomfortable if I saw this done by somebody else. Uh, and I can imagine that asking for a woman wearing a man's religious clothes could be deemed very problematic for certain parts of the population. I um, personally don't mind that, and we have I used to have a female rabbi that used to wear a kippah. So for me, this is not worrying, but this also wasn't tagged at all. And I would expect this actually to be tagged as problematic around maybe hate, maybe. But again, it's a good question of interpretation and how things are trained. Um, Next one is okay. I wanted to have these two images here are from Google. Yeah. So if I take this particular one, this is a bird that is injured and it's got a cast here on its wing. If I run the test, it's accepted. If now I go and I take, here's an image again from I found in Google Images. This is a shirt of an injured peace dove. So this is actually a message of peace. Um, and this one has been accepted. But when I asked the image generators to generate for me a dove that is bandaged, it was blocked many, many times as a problematic content. And when I did manage, I can get the leg to be bandaged, but the image generators don't know how to put a bandage on a wing of a bird at the moment. Uh, if we go to this one, let's see how this one, so an image I took off the internet. Okay. And if we go for the image that I generated myself after a lot of hard work and a little bit of, I think this is the last one for me to show you. Yes. This is my image of a dove, wounded, crying, and from my experience, by the way, when the moment one asks for the color red incorporated in the image, that's when some red flags literally are raised by some of the Gen AI image generators. But by this tool, it's been accepted. Thank you very much for listening.